When the world is growing more violent and corrupt, if God invited you to build an ark of faith in the middle of everyone's laughter and mockery, would you choose to live like Noah or blend in with the crowd? In those days, the descendants of Adam had multiplied. Cities sprang up, villages stretched across the land, music echoed. The sound of a hammer on metal rang out. Shouts of festivals and parties filled the air, but beneath that busy, glittering surface was something terrifying. Violence, greed, selfishness, and sexual corruption were everywhere. The strong treated the lives of the weak like trash. People worshipped idols made by their own hands and forgot the one who had created them. God looked down and saw that the human heart had grown hard as stone. The evil people imagined in their hearts was only evil all the time. He knew that if everything continued, evil would swallow the entire world. He decided to cleanse the earth with a flood, but he did not want to destroy everything. In the middle of that chaotic crowd, God saw one different man, Noah. He was not a hero with superhuman strength. Noah was simply a husband and a father. He lived uprightly, feared God, and refused to follow the corruption of his time. While people chased after their latest pleasures, Noah quietly taught his children to live honestly, not to cheat, not to treat anyone unjustly. One night, when everyone was asleep and only the wind whispered through the trees, Noah heard a voice deep within. It was clearer than any other sound. "Noah, I am going to send a flood of waters on the earth to wipe out evil, but I want to save you, your family, and every living kind. Build for me a great ark of cypress wood." God did not just speak and then leave Noah alone. He gave him exact instructions: the length, the width, the height, the number of decks, the window, the door, how to coat it with pitch so that the water would not enter. The next morning, Noah told his wife and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They did not fully understand what was happening, but when they looked into their father's steady, peaceful eyes, they chose to believe that God truly was speaking to their family. From that day on, the long, hard days of work began. Under the burning sun, Noah and his sons cut down each cypress tree. They carried the heavy logs on their shoulders under the echo of mocking laughter from their neighbors. The sound of hammers and saws never stopped. The first planks rose into the frame of the ark. It looked clumsy and huge, like a strange wooden fortress standing in the middle of dry land. People gathered to watch and burst out laughing. Noah has lost his mind. The sun is blazing and he says a flood is coming. Building a ship on dry ground, where is it going to sail? Some were even more cruel and sneered. Even if a flood comes, it will be a long, long time from now. By then, that old man will be dead. But Noah did not argue. He simply repeated patiently, "God has spoken. I trust him." Then he bowed his head and went back to measuring, hammering, and sealing every crack of the ark with pitch. Noah's sons also had moments of weariness and doubt. They heard their friends whisper and gossip. They felt out of place because they were going against everyone else. But every time they looked at their father's back, now beginning to stoop, and his hands thick with calluses that continued working, they chose to stand beside him. Many years passed. The massive ark was finally complete. Its hull, dark with pitch, rose high like a wooden fortress. Inside, the space was divided into many rooms, stocked with food, water, and tools needed for a journey with an unknown ending. One day, the sky took on a heavy, strange look. Dark clouds rolled in from far away. God spoke to Noah, "Bring your family and the animals into the ark. In just a few days, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights." From every direction, animals began to come strangely and wonderfully. Pairs of lions walked calmly beside tiny lambs without attacking them. Heavy-footed elephants, tiny birds, tall giraffes stretching their long necks, slow-moving reptiles, all seemed to be guided by an invisible hand, walking in line toward the ark. People in the region saw this scene and still refused to believe. They laughed even louder, convinced that Noah was some kind of lunatic collecting animals for a show. When Noah, his family, and all the animals were inside, God himself shut the door of the ark. The heavy door closed, separating Noah's family from the noisy world outside. Then the first raindrop fell. At first, it was just a normal rain, enough to make children happy and run outside to play. But soon, the rain grew heavier. Raindrops came down like arrows striking the ground. The wind howled. Thunder boomed and lightning flashed. Rain poured down day after day, night after night. Water fell from the sky like waterfalls. Water burst up from the deep as if underground springs had exploded. Rivers and streams overflowed their banks, sweeping away houses and fields. People panicked and ran to higher ground. They pounded on the ark, begging Noah to open the door. But it was too late. The ark broke free from the ground and began to float on the surging waters. Inside the ark, Noah and his family held each other and prayed. The rain hammered on the wooden roof. The wind screamed. Animals cried out in fear. But every time anxiety rose in his heart, Noah remembered God's promise and felt peace return. After 40 days and 40 nights, the rain stopped, but the earth was still submerged in an endless sea of water. The ark drifted under a gray sky above a boundless flood. Time on the ark was so long that day and night seemed to blend. Noah's family fed the animals, cleaned, prayed, and waited. Then one day, the ark shuddered slightly, as if it had struck something solid. It had come to rest on the slopes of Mount Ararat. The waters were still high, but they had begun to recede. Noah waited many more days. Then he opened a window and released a raven. The raven flew back and forth over the waters, but found no place to rest. It kept circling above the flood. Noah waited 7 days and then released a dove. It flew off and returned, its wings weary, showing that dry land had not yet appeared. 7 days later, he released the dove again. That evening, the dove came back with a fresh olive leaf in its beak. That small green branch made Noah's heart explode with joy. Life was beginning again on the earth. 7 more days passed. Noah released the dove once more, and this time it did not return. He knew it had found a home on dry ground. Even then, Noah did not leave the ark on his own. He waited until he heard the voice of God. Noah, come out of the ark, you and your wife, your sons and their wives. Bring out every living creature with you, so they may be fruitful and multiply on the earth. The heavy door of the ark swung open. Light flooded in. Fresh wind blew through, carrying the smell of damp soil, new grass, and a forest just beginning to live again. Noah, his family, and all the animals stepped out and set their feet on the ground for the first time in many months. Before them was a silent world, as if it had been washed clean and made ready for a new beginning. The first thing Noah did was not build a house for himself. He built an altar out of rough stones. He knelt and offered a sacrifice. Tears filled his eyes. He knew he was no more worthy than anyone else, yet God had chosen to preserve him. God accepted that offering and declared that he would never again destroy all living things with a flood. Then, in the sky, as the clouds began to part, a brilliant rainbow appeared. It arched from one horizon to the other. God said, "This rainbow is the sign of the covenant I make with you. Whenever it appears, I will remember my promise. The waters will never again wipe out all living creatures." Noah looked up at the rainbow, his heart overflowing with gratitude. He understood that from then on, every rain that ended with a rainbow would carry a message. Even when humans are weak, God remains faithful. He patiently gives humanity another chance to begin again. And that story is not just for people long ago, it is for you and for me. For those of us who are trying to believe and obey in a world full of hidden floods of sin and fear. If something in Noah's journey through the flood has touched your heart, please help share this story. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Every interaction from you is a way to plant more seeds of hope and faith in a world full of storms.